Hello and welcome to Business with Teacher T. In this video, we're going to look at conditions that prompt trade. Now, there are some factors that force businesses to consider selling and/or moving their production abroad, and there are significant opportunities for selling to overseas markets. And these are called push and pull factors, and that's what will be explored in this video. Push factors are the reasons that occur in a domestic market that cause a business to want to enter into new international markets. Now, a domestic market is the home market. That's where a business initially set up. Now, there's going to be certain threats, certain reasons that drive a business to want to enter a new international market. A push factor is something that happens in that domestic market that drives the actual firm to want to enter new foreign markets for survival or for success. The two push factors that we'll look at today are saturated markets and competition. One push factor is saturated markets. This is generally where a business is in a market that no longer generates new demand. So they don't have those new customers that actually want their products. There's no new demand for what they're selling. This may be because the market is crowded, which makes it hard for them to remain competitive. Another push factor is competition. A lot of competition can also push a business out of the market, particularly if a large rival enters the market. This can force smaller businesses to go into international markets as a way to survive. There are also pull factors. Pull factors are factors that happen in another market that draw business into a foreign market. So you can see before you two pull factors. We have economies of scale and we have risk spreading. Now, the first pull factor that we're going to look at is economies of scale. Now, if you're not familiar with what economies of scale are, please do watch my video on economies of scale, and then you'll become more familiar with what it is and the types and so forth. Now, going back to the pull factor, increased trade can result in a business growing, thus benefiting from economies of scale. Sometimes there's not enough demand or output in the domestic market for the business to actually grow. So therefore, they're more attracted to the foreign markets, and thus they can benefit from economies of scale. Now, the different types of economies of scale that they might benefit from could be purchasing economies of scale, could be managerial, and it could even be technical economies of scale. Another pull factor is risk spreading. A business just focusing on one market is very risky. If sales were to fall in the domestic market and a business isn't focusing on any foreign markets at all, then it makes them quite unstable. So in order to reduce this risk, a business may feel drawn, attracted to also trade in an international market. So we've looked at push and pull factors, but there are other conditions that might prompt trade, such as the possibility of offshoring and outsourcing. Now, offshoring involves moving one or more business functions to a foreign country to benefit from lower wage rates. So you've got a couple of examples here. You've got the likes of Adidas and Topshop, and they subcontract a lot of their production to low-cost economies. The possibility of outsourcing is also a condition that can prompt trade for a business. So outsourcing is where a business would hire a company to perform services on their behalf. So your college or school might actually outsource their cleaning services, for example. The likes of John Lewis, they outsource to an advertising agency to be able to create their Christmas ads. And as you can see, there's examples from Google and Alibaba as well. The final condition that might prompt trade is extending the product lifecycle by selling in multiple markets. Now, hopefully you remember the product lifecycle from theme 1 last year. If not, please go back over your notes, look through your textbook and review the product lifecycle. So, 4 conditions that prompt trade. A company might extend the product lifecycle by selling in multiple markets. So that means for the likes of Apple, for example, not just focusing on the US market with their iPhone 11, they might decide when it gets to the maturity stage that they're going to focus on other markets. It could be Asian markets, for example, could be African nations. So therefore, they're still able to maintain a high level of positive cash flow, and this could be used for new product development in regards to the new iPhone 12. That concludes our video for today. If you're liking the business vibe, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.